Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Thursday, September 10th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. Yesterday afternoon, the Annapolis City Council met in special session to approve a settlement on a federal lawsuit alleging racial discrimination on behalf of the city of Annapolis as well as the housing authority of the city of Annapolis. The settlement was for $900,000 to be paid to certain residents within the HACA communities, and it does also include a consent order lasting for 10 years, which, among other things, calls for the continuation of inspections of housing authority rental units, as well as expedition of any processes regarding the redevelopment of any HACA properties. If you want to read the settlement agreement, the Capitol has it right on their website. They've got the full PDF there. It's really kind of interesting. Now, how this all came about is back in 2019, a group of residents from HACA sued the city alleging racial discrimination. That initially stemmed from living conditions in the HACA-owned apartments. Now, during the Panelides administration, former Mayor Mike Panelides began inspecting their residences, as they do all rental units in the city, in order to identify the issues and pressure, hopefully, HACA to make the appropriate corrections. Well, those inspections ceased after current Mayor Gavin Buckley took office and were cited in the federal lawsuit alleging discrimination and racism in that the majority of the residents are African American and that the city did not treat them equally in terms of inspections. The inspections did resume in July of 2019, and both the city and the housing authority for the city of Annapolis were named in that lawsuit. In other city news, on September 4th, Annapolis Mayor Gavin Buckley notified the Annapolis Democratic Central Committee that there was a vacancy on the council. Yes, Alderman Mark Rodriguez had resigned, and that will now trigger an appointment for his replacement. Now, the Annapolis Democratic Central Committee is going to meet on September 28th, 2020 at 7 p.m. online. They are going to interview the candidates to fill the vacancy. The meeting will be open to the public. If you are interested in being that candidate, you want to visit the ADCC website, which is at annapolisdems.org, and they have all the instructions right there on how to apply, the eligibility. You do need to be a Democrat. You do need to live in Ward 5. And other important deadlines. The deadline to apply is September 21st at 9 p.m. If anybody does have any questions, they can contact them at annapolisdems@gmail.com. Yesterday, Governor Hogan announced that Maryland's 24 local jurisdictions, which is pretty much every county and the city of Baltimore, can begin applying for a piece of a $16 million in Maryland Eviction Prevention Partnership grants, which is going to help support local rental assistance programs across the state. Governor Hogan said these grants will help ensure more of our citizens can remain safe and secure in their homes. Through the Maryland Eviction Prevention Partnership, the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development is awarding the federal community development block grants funding across local jurisdictions in Maryland to prevent the evictions. Now, once your county or city does apply, in order to be eligible, recipients of any rental assistance may not exceed 80% of the area median income. Recipients must demonstrate a job loss or a reduction in work hours due to COVID-19, and there may be some other local eligibility requirements as well. Best bet, contact your local rental assistance administrators for current information. In addition, Governor Hogan also launched the Assisted Housing Relief Program. This is an eviction prevention program intended to help bring rental delinquencies current and provide real relief for tenants through direct payments to their landlord. Tenants in eligible properties are going to be credited for rent rebates paid directly to the property management company or the landlord, which will pretty much eliminate their rental debt and the threat of eviction. Now, the program is pretty limited. It only applies to rental units in multifamily projects financed by DHCD's Community Development Administration, which use state funds or federal resources. But again, you want to check to see if you may be eligible for that if your property does fall under that guideline. And just a reminder that there is a moratorium on evictions during the state of emergency, which we are still under here in Maryland. You cannot be evicted as long as you can demonstrate that you have lost your work or reduction of hours due to COVID. However, your landlord can still take you to court, can still proceed ahead with eviction proceedings, but you just cannot be put out. I don't know that that's a great comfort to many people, but that's the way it is. And finally, as we wrap it up, it is 2020, and virtually all events are, well, virtual. And the Wellness House of Annapolis is no different, and that includes their upcoming Rock and Roll Benefit by the Bay. This benefit is going to feature Paul Reed Smith Band on September 24th at 7 p.m. They are going to be live in their recording studio, streaming to you for a free concert. And this is really actually going to be pretty cool, because before each song, the band is going to explain the song, the meanings behind them, the lyrics, etc. And if you are a budding musician yourself, the band is also going to be breaking down a few pieces so you can actually learn to play them at home. It's sort of like that Maryland Hall program they had a few weeks ago, which is really kind of cool. The concert is free to anybody. You can access it at AnnapolisWellnessHouse.org, and they are looking for sponsors too. Wellness House does some wonderful work for cancer patients and their families. You can learn more at AnnapolisWellnessHouse.org, and this certainly looks like one that I'm going to catch, so I will put that on my calendar for September 24th at 7 p.m. All right, that does wrap it up for us today. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net for updates to these stories and more throughout the day. Let your friends and family and colleagues know all about us, and if you are someplace you can leave us a rating or a review, that would be much appreciated. It is Thursday, of course, so we do have Trevor with your Annapolis Makerspace Maker Minutes, and as we have always, George Young with your local DC MDVA weather, all coming up in just 1 minute. But first, here is Rick Peters from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMDVA weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMDVA Weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMDVA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Thursday, September 10th. Yesterday brought the clouds and light rain we expected for the day as a rain system moves up the east coast from the Carolinas, which helped set the stage for today's cloudier and rainier conditions that might produce 1 inch or more of rainfall for much of Anne Arundel County, with some potential for a few locations to see 2 inches or more when all is said and done. From there, the overall setup keeps unsettled skies in the mix pretty much Friday through the weekend, before some clearing early next week with high temps down in the 70s as we start to move through the middle third of the month. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMDVA Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe, and be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DCMDVA Weather in the Apple or Google App Stores. And also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and use our website each day at DCMDVAweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
What are we going to do about Mom?
What kind of care does Dad need?
How much will it cost?
Who will take care of them?
These are the tough questions that come with aging parents. Bay Village Assisted Living and Memory Care can help. We have the experience and the resources to help you find those answers. To help you gain peace of mind, we can answer the when, the where, the how, and everything in between. Give us a call or stop by for confidential, free assistance. We're here for those conversations, and maybe it's time you were too. Bay Village Assisted Living and Memory Care, a new community designed with Annapolis in mind. Visit our Sales and Information Center at 947 Bay Ridge Road or online at bayvillageassistedliving.com. We know these are hard conversations, and we're here to help when you need us.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.